Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ. Blessed is IUIC London, cuts from the streets. And today's topic is police brutality. Okay, in London, in South London, we had a young brother, Chris Kabar, that was put to death. He was shot just the other day by the police. Okay, and there's been a lot of questions of why, what took place, and why he was put to death, why he was shot in the manner that he was. You know, they're investigating right now. They say there was no gun found in his actual vehicle. So there's a lot of questions around this subject. And we came to see the mindset of our people. Why is it always us that's going through this? Because if you put another nation in that same seat, it's very likely that brother would still be alive to this day.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we have to look at it from the eyes and the perspective of our people. You know, there's been interviews with the family. The family, like probably most of our people, most of our community, definitely believe that there's some sort of racism involved in this instance. And, you know, we just have to look at the cycle that there's been. You know, around London, we had police caused murder, police killings from the 80s, which caused riots, right? In 2011, which is 11 years ago, Mark Duggan, similar situation happened, said there was a weapon, there was no weapon, that kind of thing, right? Until now. So we're also going to speak to the people about why they think these things continue to happen and why do they continue to happen to us, to the so-called black community.
Yeah, exactly that. We're checking the mindset of the people. You know, are the people thinking about this? It's been happening over and over and over and over again. When is it going to stop? Are people thinking about this? Are they thinking about, actually, you know what? We're sick and tired of it. What is the solution? And that's what we are here to give our people.
So that's right. We're going to bring the solution right out of the Bible. So as you'll stay tuned, it's IUIC London, cuts from the streets. And I'm here today with
Simba.
And today's topic, we're talking about our young brother that was killed by the police. Okay, so this just took place the other day in Streatham. All right, you know the story of what took place. What's your thoughts on it, sir?
My thoughts of it, like, it's another atrocity that happened and no one knows what happened or why it happened, but we're always being targeted, black boys. And if it's not just by your own uniform and the clothes you're wearing or your mum letting you out the house with those kind of clothes, this was a grown-ass man. Well, half grown-ass. So we just got to be careful and vigilant on how we use our body language on the street if they're just shooting people without asking why.
What's your name, sir?
Daryl.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Daryl. So now our topic is police brutality, right? And I'm not sure if you've been watching the news recently that there was a young man that was killed by the police. Yeah. Can you tell me about that? What you know about that story?
Well, yeah, I heard about it as soon as it happened, sort of thing, you know what I mean? And basically the family was on, my cousin's friends with the family or whatever, so I heard straight away that it was unprovoked. They just annihilated, they assassinated the brother, you know what I mean?
So we're talking about this young man here, 24-year-old, called Chris Kabar. Yeah. All right?
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ, blessed. We're back out in the streets of Brixton, and right now I'm with brother Terrell. Now, as you've probably heard, Monday, there was an incident, a murder, where in Streatham Hill, which is just down the road, you had a young man, Chris Kabar, who was shot by armed police. Are you aware of this incident?
I am. Yes, I am.
What, to your understanding, what conspired? What happened?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know the initial cause, but from the best of my knowledge, he was chased down to his car, to which he got in and then was boxed in by police and shot without any resistance. Afterward, they found no weapon on him or no form of threat. And that's so far as what I understand. So it just looks like a senseless murder.
Okay. So, what's your take on it? What's your thought on it? What could have caused something like this to happen?
See, this is the thing. When you think about the person who it is, maybe he was being watched by the police already, or he's someone that was already in the limelight. So he's being, I'd say, even if he was being watched by police, I feel like it was just I can't guess what he was in because there was nothing found in him. So to my knowledge, nothing conspired. He was innocent. They killed the man because there's no proof otherwise. So an innocent man was murdered. An innocent black man was murdered by the police. And to the best of my knowledge, it was done for the sheer reason that he was black. No other defining factor.
My thought on that is too much black youths are getting killed. The gun crime needs to stop. Everything just needs to stop because I know the police is liable for killing him, but it's another black youth, and they always go around and say black people are this, black people are that. But think about it. Why is the police going around killing people? They have no authority. They have no right to do that. Just like they killed the man in America, they shouldn't do that. They're not God. Only God can take people. They shouldn't be able to take people's lives. It's not right.
This kind of issue or situation, why is it usually only happening to the so-called black man?
Well, the reason why that is because we run the streets. Black people run the streets. We've run music since it began. Rocksteady, blue beat, ska, ragga, jungle, hip-hop, speed, garage, grime, this thing called drill and dubstep. If it wasn't for a rude boy, a black boy, the country would be quite boring. So I wouldn't mind them targeting. Every culture follows our music or follows our baggy trousers or skinny jeans. They're going to follow.
So you're saying because of the trends that we set, wherever we go throughout the world, is part of the reasoning of why we end up finding ourselves in a situation that took place the other day?
Well, the situation that took place the other day, that's another sad occasion, and which no one don't know the real stories and what's behind it all. But when you're talking about drill music and stuff like that, you know, it's getting #1 in the charts, and it's a new punk rock, which punk rock is cool. So drill music's cool. And are the police looking at drill music or treating everybody like they're a suspect because of drill music? Or every youngster or anybody who dresses like that, like if they was out to do something wrong.
So you do think there's an element of racism involved?
I do believe it was racist, yes.
Okay. Because this is the thing, right? Like many people within the black community, for example, right? They'll look at it and they'll think racism, and the next thought is like, what about me? What about my community? What about my family and myself? Do you get that kind of sense or that kind of feeling? Or is it a thing where you think, that's detached, it's not necessarily going to happen? Or what do you think?
I believe that when I see something like this, it reaffirms to me that it can be anyone or over anything, because when I view a black man being murdered without any justice or without any action being done, and the same thing's been happening for decades, if not hundreds, if not thousands of years, it does make you, it just reaffirms what you already know. It is a thing of, it can be anyone, and there's nothing expressly protecting black people who are also subject to more persecution. So, it definitely makes me think that it can be anyone.
You understand? So there's still no sense in the matter of them killing him. It was an unarmed black brother, young brother, being assassinated right in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? And it's even different to Mark Duggan or whatever, because they claimed that he had a firearm.
So this Mark Duggan was a story that happened, what was it, about 2 years ago or so? 2012. Wow, even longer than that. My excuse. I know. They feel so fresh in my mind, right? So it happened. What is it? 2012. You said, right around that time, right? And so this was a young man, another young man that was killed by, again, police brutality, and which ended up in what? Rioting?
Pardon?
Did it not end up in rioting? What happened with it?
With Mark Duggan, that ended up in rioting, innit? And I would like to say the community, because I was at the protest yesterday for this, you know what I mean? And there's one tomorrow, like we're stressing that there's no point of rioting, that don't do nothing for us. You understand? That just sets us up to fail. That'll just get people locked up.
So hold on a minute. So there's a plan for tomorrow to do some kind of march, is it, for this young man? What time is it tomorrow?
I think it's 12 o'clock tomorrow.
So that's Saturday, yeah?
At Parliament Square, 12 o'clock tomorrow at Parliament Square. We'll be linking at Parliament Square, then marching to Scotland Yard, which is just around the corner. You know what I mean? Let me get the right time. 12 o'clock assemble at Parliament Square, march to Scotland Yard. This is put out by the family, because the one we went to yesterday, the family cancelled it while we was there.
So there was one that was arranged for yesterday that got cancelled by the family?
It got cancelled by the family for whatever reasons, you know what I mean? But we was already out. So we met at Windrush, and we thought we might as well go to Brixton Police Station anyway, now we're here. but tomorrow's the official one set up by the family and other movements and stuff.
Okay. I believe that the police are treating him like Mark Duggan or somebody in that sort of field, giving him a title and giving him a label. You know, we don't know if he was a member or a leader. You know, we know that he's another human being, and the circumstances were just wrong. You know.
I'll come from
He's
it.
saying it's a racial attack, which we all understand, because he's a black guy. But how many black kids need to lose their life before and something is done about these things? It's just too much. It's too much. It's too much now.
Right. So do you think if it wasn't a black man, so it was another race, whatever, white, Chinese, Indian, whatever, do you feel that there would have been the same outcome or a different outcome?
I believe there would have been a different outcome. I believe the situation may not have escalated as fast as it would to even end up in the outcome that we received. I believe at every step, the minute a black man's involved, every step of the procedure, whatever it is that the police take, is amped up for us. So whenever...
Why do you think that is?
It's over stereotypes, it's over systemic racism, it's over preconceived notions of what you assume a black man's doing. It's a lot of... Well, it's just racism. It's actually racism. And it's racism where you have to remember we're in a country that is not native to our own. Everyone around here doesn't look like me or you. You don't walk around and then think, oh, I'm the majority. So when you're in the minority, you're still the ones that have always been heavily looked at. And for as long as we've been here, we've been looked at as the minority, as something to be watched. So then it's no surprise when we're always under more scrutiny or where we're treated as of other, as if, I feel like that's just it.
Do you know what is the trap is? How I think, say how we dance to our own demise. We're in the club dancing to man talking about kill each other, smoke man in the up, so they undervalue our lives. So when these things happen, they can be like, oh, but he was a Jew artist, he was havoc in the community. But still, even if he was that guy in the community, he was unarmed, so that don't even matter. But they will use that against us, that we're vicious to each other. Look at Carnival, how they was painting of us the same as animals in Carnival and rare. So we don't make it easier for ourselves. We don't make it easier for us.
So it's a cause and effect kind of situation where, you know, it's like the whole drill music thing and the kind of lyrics that's also being released in this, you know, music can be one that maybe police are using as justice to kind of go after our men that are kind of like making this kind of music.
Yeah, I want to make it clear though, I'm not talking about the artists. I'm talking about the people that fund the artists, because they make our young black children think that they have to be bad boys, they have to be killers to get signed. So they put them in that predicament where they have to be bad. So young youths might not even be bad. They'll make a song where they're talking badness, where they're just trying to get signed, but badness will be attracted to them now because they put it out there. So like I say, if you say you're the baddest, I'm going to want to test you. And that's what that music encourages them to do.
So this is some crafty stuff right there, isn't it? If you think about it, really crafty.
Because the vibration of music is powerful. If I bring a gospel singer right here, right now, to sing in front of you, you'll get goosebumps. It's just like every type of music has a different effect on you. R&B, you want to be with your missus, have a nice night in, you play some R&B, it'll create that chemistry. So this is just a trap for our youths, you know what I mean? To say, oh, we'll pay you 25 grand for one single to talk about killing, man. But what it brings back to the community is people undervalue us. Like white people be like, oh, they talk about killing each other. Chinese man be like, they talk about killing each other. Play me some music with Chinese man talking about killing each other. Or Jewish man talking about... And why can't I make a tune talk about Jewish people or doing something to... Or LGBT? I can't make songs about that no more. But I can make songs about killing a brother. So it makes us, this is what the artists don't understand, like all these big artists, they're getting big money, but it undervalues us on the ground. Like in the ends now, they're like, you lot don't have no value for your own life, so why am I gonna value your life? So if we keep on treating each other with violence, they can come in on violence and it won't be questioned as much as someone dying from a next community. If this was an Indian brother that just got shot, the Indians will be going mad. The Asians will be going mad, bro. It'll be havoc because they can't.
Would it even happen though?
It probably wouldn't. Right. They probably wouldn't because they value. They're not seen as us as undervaluing themselves. We undervalue ourselves. Right. It's just like, say like you lot here, yeah. Say if I see you cussing one of your members, yeah, I'm going to devalue your whole movement now.
That's how you see us, you know, from that point on.
Yeah, like, you know, like you devaluing your cousin in front of, you devaluing your family in front of other people, you devalued your whole family. It's just like us, what's happening with us, how they're setting up our young children to sign these contracts to devalue their people as a whole. Oh, you're getting £1 million, you're getting all that money, but everyone from your ends is undervalued now. The police won't treat them with respect. You understand? Because we keep on showing the underbelly of our community to everyone. When my son is an A star student, taekwondo champion, local MP in Southwark. You understand? We don't put these things at the forefront because there's plenty of good kids.
Mainly negativity that's been projected, you know, about our people basically, and it's crafty counsel. And it's something that, you know, because we're about giving solutions to our people, you know what I'm saying? You know, we don't just come out here interviewing people and talking about what's going on in the world and world affairs without actually providing solutions. And that's what we're about.
A lot of youths are going to find it hard. This day and age as well, I feel sorry for all the teenagers and that, like the teenagers growing up now. I've got 3 kids and if anything happened to my 3 kids, I would just I don't know what. My first one is 19 and she's a girl. The second one's 12. She's in America with her dad. And the other one, my son, he's kind of with me. But it's just sad. It's just sad. Yeah? To see all these youths losing their lives. Yeah? They should be able to have a life. Just like how we have a life, they should be able to have a life as well.
But what is the solution to resolve what's going on today?
The solution to what resolves going on today is they've got a regime and they've got to catch up to numbers, even in the police force, even in the work environment. In most environments, they've got to stick with numbers, you know. They've just started putting black people on adverts on the telly in the last 2 years because of coronavirus, and that's called acceptancy. You know, we've been clowns for them for long enough. We're kind of serious people now. We've been entertainment, we've been comedians, we've been all forms of acting or showing them that we've got skills. And till they let us come on their market, we'll see what happens when King Charles is king. See if anything changes. And if nothing don't change, I expect you youngsters to do the changing. Exactly what you're doing now, talking to the elders, talking to everybody really.
What do you think the solution is? Do you think there is a solution? Do you think it's something that can be stopped? And if you do, what do you think that is?
I believe it is something that can be stopped. The solution would be establishing an independent black body that's tied to the government that reviews all black matters through anything, whether it's education, whether it's criminal. There's an independent body of black appointed people, whether it's from the community, whether it's politicians, whatever it is. Maybe it should be a person from all kinds of backgrounds, or a lawyer, a board where the matters will then be brought to those people and they can see whether there is any form of racial implication or biases put on it. And if that board's there, if the board has any contact or ties with the government, physical action should be allowed to occur once, if they do ever find something is unjust or done against a biased race.
Okay. Physical action like what, for example?
Well, if we have lawyers and things there, they should be allowed to bring it up as a hate crime, or they should, if it's legal, then they should be allowed to persecute with the understanding, almost like they should be able to persecute with the same way that a court could, where a court could bring it up and be like, this is a legal matter. You are now under investigation or something. It should be something that can, so okay, I need an example. So say it's this situation. This case would now go to that board, they would review it, and if they found there was any form of racial discrimination that occurred that led to the murder, they should then be allowed to send over their evidence with all their findings to the government, and that should already be seen as a body of approval. So they shouldn't need to be peer reviewed. They should be the evidence in itself because they're the body that handles black matters in the country.
Okay. Everything that's going on with our people is biblical. Okay? Read Leviticus chapter 26, verse 17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 17.
Start at verse 14 first. Hold on, let's do it for my brother.
Leviticus chapter 26 verse 14. But if you will not hearken unto me, I will not do all these commandments. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror.
So this was a warning given unto the Israelites, saying, look, if you don't keep God's commandments and his statutes which he commanded unto us, he's going to appoint over us terror. Read.
Consumption and a burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies.
So again, part of the punishment for not keeping God's commandments was that he's going to turn his face against us, and we're going to be what?
Slain before your enemies.
Just like what's happened from slavery up into this day, and what happened to the young brother. He was slain before his enemy. Read.
They that hate you shall reign over you.
So what the Bible's revealing unto us, the people or the nation that are ruling us, read it again.
They that hate you.
See it? It says they that hate you, not love you,
shall reign over you.
So the Bible's revealing that those that rule over us, they hate us. And that's going to be part of the reason why it's going to be so easy for them to put in one of us to death. And you don't see it rarely happen to any of their own nation or any of their people, because they have a love for their own people, but it says they hate us as a people.
Isaiah chapter 42 verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
Right, all of our people are snared in holes. Another word for a snare is a trap. Just like you got our people, what do they call it? They call it the trap. You know, our people are trapped up in the trap because the lifestyle that we're living as people is pushed on us through media. It's pushed on us through the music that we consume, right? Our people are in these traps and in these things, and then when everybody looks at us, from the black community to other communities, we are now devalued because we're trapped up in a lifestyle and a culture where we are not seen as God's chosen people. We are not seen as royalty on this earth. We are not seen as people whose lives should be valued. We're seen as people who rob one another, kill one another, all of these different types of things. Do you understand? That's how we're seen, not only by ourselves, but by other communities.
Zechariah 11 verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
So the Bible's letting us know again, those people that are going to reign over us, they're going to slay us. And what they're going to do?
And hold themselves not guilty.
So they're going to kill us and say, no, we're not guilty. They're going to go to, because most of the time that's the case. We have a few little times where they are in the court of law, put forth that they're guilty, but majority of the time, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. The Bible's saying this is what they're going to do. Read it again.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord.
Then they say, blessed be the Lord. They say, amen, God bless America, or God save the king, God save the queen. They say this is a godly country behind that.
You already know this. You already know this.
But
what you do?
But what? Hold it. Let me. That's the Old Testament right there. But what I'm trying to show you is that a lot of the reasons or the life that we're living, the Bible documents the reason behind it. A lot of the things we know what's going on, but a lot of our people don't know that it's actually a biblical situation. Give me Hosea 5:15.
Now that we are having an understanding of what's going on, that this is actually something that's of the Lord, and there needs to be like a little switch that flicks in the brain now to be like, you know what, this thing is happening to us. We're seeing it's very clear. It's been happening for many years now. You know what is actually going on? Well, I'm saying that it's of the Lord, and we can prove it in the Bible, right? Let's see what the Lord says.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
God said he will go and return to his place, right? Remember, the prayer that was mentioned in Psalms 83. Hold not thy peace, O God. Keep not thy silence, O God. Because God is like, I'm just going to wait and see if they're going to learn something here. If they're going to realize who they are and come back to me. I will go and return to my place.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Till they acknowledge their offense. What is our offense? The offense is that we are God's chosen people. Right? God is our heavenly Father. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to keep. But guess what? we decided to not want to do what everybody else is doing, guess what? God is punishing us for it. Until we come back and say, God, we've made a mistake. We're sorry. We're going to come back now and keep your laws, statutes, and commandments. That's us coming, realizing what our offense is.
And seek my face.
Seek God's face is what? Recognizing who he is, praying to him, making supplication to him, right? Read.
In their affliction, they will seek me early.
Right. That's affliction right there. Chris Kaba being killed. We're being afflicted right now. We're being scared because that could happen to any one of us. That's one of our brothers that was killed right there. All right. So now going back to the solution still, give me Zephaniah 2:1. So what are we required to do? What's required of us to be able to finally lift this curse away from us, lift it off our head even? You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. We want to be able to come to this realization of, okay, well, you know what? There's prophecy of these things happening to us, but surely there must be a real true solution on how to actually overcome this. All right, let's see what God says.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Black people, this has happened to us over and over and over again. We're a nation that is not desired. Whether you're Jamaican, you're African, you give me some more. You're from the Northern Kingdom of South America, wherever it is you go in the world. The Chris Kaba thing that happened, I'm sure it happened in Brazil over the last few weeks. Over the next few weeks, it's going to happen again. Whether it's in Chile, whether it's in America, wherever it is we are in the world, even Africa. That happens to our people too. So God said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. That's what we need to do. We need to gather together under the law, statutes, and commandments of God and keep his commandments. Because why? The true justice is going to come from us keeping God's commandments, my brother.
We have to gather together. Gather together as well as the Israelites. We have to come to know that we have to keep commandments. And because we broke the commandment, that's why all these atrocities is happening. So that's the niche. Because it's the Most High that did it. He's the one that did it. Zechariah 4 verse 6, last scripture. Yes, it's Zechariah 4 verse 6. Because it's the Most High that put us in this situation, and he's the one that's going to take us out of it. Okay? Read this.
The book of Zechariah chapter 4 verse 6. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but
so it's not by our might, it's not by our power. We black people cannot, because a lot of people say, oh, economics will fix us. All we need is just we need to get firearms. Let's fight back. No, that's not gonna fix it. It's not by our minds. Okay, but what's that gonna fix it?
Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts.
His spirit saved the Lord of hosts. It's his spirit that will cause us to what? To fix us. To fix the situation that
we don't understand that we're the greatest people on this earth. We should be ruling this earth. And the only reason we're in the position we're in is because we broke God's commandments. And as soon as we flip that, he'll flip it. He'll put us back on top. But it says that what? Read that again.
Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ,
by his commandments, read,
that you all speak the same thing.
That we all speak the same thing. The same thing isn't your opinion. It isn't my opinion. It's God's opinion, God's commandments. You understand? That's what the same thing is. So we need to learn our commandments, learn our identity, learn the things that we're supposed to be doing, how to deal with one another. Because we don't deal with one another right, the Most High is not going to cause anybody else to deal with us right. But we have to apply these statutes. Is there anything else there?
And that there be no divisions among you.
That there be no divisions among us. Because once we all have the same mind, following the statutes of the Most High, he will defend us. Because he's in control of the police. He's the one that put them in power. He's the one that set up the rulers of this world. And when he understands that we're changing our mind as a collective under his laws and statutes, he will defend us. That's our solution. Because there have been many good men that have done many good works, much activism, but we're still in the same position. The special ingredient that's been missing is God's laws.
Shalom is your Most High in Christ. Bless you, we're back. Okay, we just dealt with our people regarding the topic police brutality. As we said throughout these interviews, and at the beginning, we had a brother called Chris Kaba that was shot, put to death by the police. Okay, and now we spoke to our people regarding why do you think this is happening and what kind of solutions do they have. You know, and the brother I spoke to initially, you know, he said he doesn't really have a solution. You know, and he said, well, the solution is going to come from the youth. You know, so we dived into the Bible, we firstly showed the reasoning behind these cases, because this is something that's being continuous. Okay, so this is not something out of the norm or brand new. This is something that's continuously done, especially in America. You know what I'm saying? So slowly and surely, things that happen in America happen over here. So, and this is what's going on in the UK. The brother got put to death. The last time where this was brought up in 2011, what happened? They protest, they marched, then riots happened. Mark Duggan. Okay, so we just came to show our people what was the reason behind this, and give them biblical solutions. What do you get?
Yeah, I spoke to a man called James, and he's basically saying he can't really say whether it's a racist thing or not, but the fact that from the time that the police are trained the way that they are, there's no way that an unarmed man should have been put to death. That's essentially what his thought or belief on the situation is. You know, it's interesting to see the thoughts and opinions of different communities, because especially, you know, we've seen the response of the parents, we've seen the response of, you know, the black community. It seems that the black community see the fact that these things continue to happen, right? And our first thought is, damn, that could happen to me. Or what if it's me or my family next? You understand? So, you know, in that sense, it's interesting to see, you know, what different people have to say about that matter.
Yeah, and the guy I spoke to, you know, he brought it out that, you know, there's crafty counsel going on. You know, the fact that our people always find themselves in these predicaments, you know, and how, you know, it is supported by, you know, the power that be, you know, the ones who actually have the means to be able to put this propaganda in our community, where our people find themselves in this position where they're being chased by the police. You know, they're getting themselves in that position where, you know, they're being confronted and eventually leading to death. You know, so we're able to address that in the scriptures, you know, using the book of Psalms, for example, Psalm 83, you know, and we delved into that, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, people need to come back to keeping God's commandments. That's truly what's going to truly change us as a people and reverse all of the negativity that comes into the so-called black community. And that's what we're about, teaching our people God's solutions, which is the true solution.
That's right, because again, the reason why these things are happening to our people is because we strayed away from keeping God's commandments. So that's going to be the only solution. Get me Zechariah chapter 4 verse 6. Okay? By God's Spirit is how we're going to be able to overcome these trials and tribulations, these afflictions that we're going through. It's not going to be through marching, okay? It's not going to be through rioting, protesting, because that's something that always comes after deaths like this. That is not the solution for our people, okay? We can't just go to the same man, you know, that he talks about in Lamentation. We go to a nation that cannot save. We can't go to the same man that's putting us to death for help. But this is what the Bible tells us how we're going to overcome.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 4 and verse 6. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power.
So it's not going to be by our own might and power. So marching, rioting, protesting, it's not going to be by our own might or power how we're going to overcome these situations that we're in. But what?
But by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts.
It's going to be by the Spirit of the Lord. That's how we're going to be able to overcome. So Israel, stay tuned, keep up to date with what's going on in our communities, apply these commandments. That is the solution. All right, with that, Israel, we're going to say Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.